Anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so last week we had to end the class because we were running out of time. And so today we're really going to work on the practice continuously without interruption essential. So uh, uh, let me read the essential to you and then we'll go ahead and break it down. Hi, Dita. All right, practice continuously and without interruption. Strength in eternal, sorry, Strength in external martial arts is a kind of acquired brute force, so it has a beginning and an end, times when it continues and times when it is cut off, such that when the old force is used up and new force hasn't yet arisen, there is a moment when it is extremely easy for the person to be constrained by an opponent. In Tai Chi, we use intent rather than force, and from beginning to end, smoothly and ceaselessly complete a cycle and return to the beginning, circulating endlessly. That is what the Tai Chi classics mean by the Yangtze or Yellow River endlessly flowing. And again, moving strength is like unreeling silk threads. These both refer to under unifying in a single impulse. Okay. So last week, your homework was when you practice throughout the week. I left you with one question, and the question was, "Where are your circles?" Did you find them?
I
Everywhere.
think I did.
All over.
Okay, you found them everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay, that's really good. All right, so um, the meaning of this essential is kind of like the waves going into the shore, or like the roller coaster thing that I talked about last week, right? So the energy, uh, this essential refers to energy, and the energy is moving continuously without any interruption. So, so bottom line, this essential has to do with circles. So luckily, in Yang Family Tai Chi, it's known for its big round movements, right? Okay, so Master Yang says this essential teaches us to allow the energy to continuously move between gathering or storing and releasing. Tai Chi is one, we cannot interrupt the flow between yin and yang. So this has to do with yin yang changing and how to connect them together. So when we say storage and release, or storage gathering slash storage, so I'm going to use the word storage and release, we combine these together as one movement. So we don't separate the two. So we use circles to make the motion continuous or flowing. Okay. So so when we talk about storage and release, just to make sure we're all on the same page, neutralizing and releasing is one movement. Uh, Things stay connected through a circle. Yin and yang are always combined as one. Storage usually comes from within you. Neutralization usually refers to the energy that originates from our opponent. Okay, so let me repeat. Storage usually comes from you. Neutralization usually relates to the energy that originates from our opponent. So we neutralize, redirect, deflect our opponent based on what they're doing to us. So we store our energy so then we can ultimately release it. So here's something profound that helped me understand this. Neutralizing uses circles to redirect the energy. I'll repeat. Neutralizing uses circles to redirect the energy. When we issue energy, we use a straight line. So when we use energy, when we go to explode our energy, we are doing that in a straight line. When we are neutralizing our opponent, we are using circles.
Yeah,
Okay?
it makes total sense.
Okay,
Just
good.
based on the way we work.
Right. So if you think about what is it that we initially do with an opponent?
Connect.
We connect. All right. We must connect with their energy or with their physicality, okay? We must connect with them first, then we can redirect their energy, and then we can then give them a what for, basically, okay? So to break this essential means that we do things not in a circular basis, that we do things on a 1-2 count. So for instance, all right, so I'll go from here, from ward off right, okay? So then I go to rollback. So here's rollback. All right, so here's stopping the energy. Press. Did you get it? Here's breaking the energy on press.
Yeah, it should be.
Right? Yes, Miss Veronica. Very nice. So how do we want to do press? We come in, we go out. In, out. Making a U-turn with our arm, but not stopping when we connect here. Don't stop here. And then go out. That's 2 motions. So it'd be like this. 1, 2. So we know that we need to make it as 1. So for instance, you're driving in your car and you want to make a left-hand turn. Well, actually, you want to make a U-turn. Sometimes it's very convenient to make a full U-turn. And there are other times when sometimes we didn't gauge the distance right, or maybe they didn't make it convenient enough. So we make that turn, then we have to back up, and then go, right? We adjust the car. But the smooth way to do it is just to make the 1 U-turn, right? That's what we're doing, is we're trying to create a situation where we are not having to back up or stop and then to use the motion or to use the energy. What we're doing is we're using the circle to make the movement continuous. So let me go back to last week with Cheryl's question. Cheryl's question was, before, when she would do snake creeps down, and this is very common with a lot of students, they'll do snake creeps down like this. Snake creeps down. Golden rooster stands on 1 leg, or step up to 7 stars, right? Okay. So we know that in Yang Family Tai Chi, what must we do, Cheryl?
Continuous movement.
Okay, so how do we make the move continuous, knowing that we have pauses?
The energy keeps flowing.
The energy keeps flowing. Okay, so we will make a stop because we know we have to show an end posture. Okay, we're showing this end posture, but then we continue with it to transition to the next movement. So in learning Tai Chi, end postures are very easy to learn. Okay, if I said to you, here, look like this. Everybody can do this. Okay, everybody look like this. Okay, everybody look like this. All right, you can go in these end postures very simply. All right. However, if I were to say, okay, transition from raise hands and step forward to white crane spreads its wings. You're going to go, okay, now how am I supposed to? Okay, it's the transitions that snag us sometimes. Mm-hmm. The transitions are the ones that make us say to ourselves, oh gosh, I just don't care. I don't know if I'm going to get this, right?
But you're saying the transitions are how we carry on with that energy to the next.
Yes. So if you think of the roller coaster ride, you're sitting there and it shoots you up in the air. And once you get kind of close to the top, it kind of hovers for a second or two. Then it comes back down, right? That's the energy redirecting itself to go back down. Just like the wave coming to the shore, the ocean, the big ocean pushes it, and then the big ocean brings it back. But it still hovers there for a second before it goes back out. Because it's trying to gather back that energy, to restore that energy so that it can release it back out again. All right? So I want you to get this concept in your mind. On your form, how are you connecting, using a circle, the transitions? All right, so here's a simple one. From rollback to press, my right hand is now going to draw an end. It's going to draw. I call it an end cap. Okay, this end cap is making this circle here, and then I go and make this U-turn. So I'm doing this. I'm drawing this kind of a U-turn. All right, but I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping. Once I made that, I want to go into that U-turn, I'm not going to stop here and then go. I'm going to make it continuous until the end. Until the end, all right? So last week I asked, where are your circles? And some of you said, I found a lot of circles, right? Which is really, really good. So where are you leaving out your circles in your transitions? All right, that's the big question of the day. So we know to break the essential means that we are not continuing the energy. We're not continuing the motion. We are breaking it up in 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, right? Even with Fair Lady Work Shuttle, we teach it like this. We count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we can stop at all those points, but that's for teaching so that we can give you these Kodak moments. However, we know that at the end, once you feel comfortable with the numbers and know what your Kodak moments are, then you know that when you do this movement, it's back and turn and back and forward and separate and strike, right? So if you notice yourself stopping when you don't need to stop, okay, because once you start a movement, you must continue until it finishes. There's no stopping in between start and stop. There's start, and then there's stop. Okay? So if we look here, make it one continuous movement. Don't stop. I know, Bill. I'm trying to tell them that.
So
yes, I think they're getting it.
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm wondering about this. So is the point of creating a series of movements into this form a practicing tool to simply help students understand the concepts of the flow of energy? Because it's not like you can plan for every single kind of confrontation you may have. So why the categorization in the groups into, say, a form?
Okay, I'm not understanding your question fully yet.
So we're not going to be working like let's say one person attacks us in one move and we take care of them all at once. We're not going to keep moving and do a series of other things to this person who's already, defeated, right? But in the forms that we study, we do these long sections, and is the purpose of that to teach our minds to look for the ways that energy moves? Am I missing something?
Okay, let me see if I am understanding your question. Michael, can you come here? Okay, so say for instance, okay, when I do rollback on Michael, okay, I'm going to do rollback on Michael. Oh, maybe, you know, it has to be this arm. Okay. I'm going to do rollback on Michael. All right. But now his elbow's changed. His elbow's changed downward, so rollback isn't going to work. I can wait here. But while I'm waiting, he could actually do something to me. So when I go into this transition, am I going to go like this? Or am I going to go, oh, okay. Now go.
Right.
Okay, so when we separate and when we stop, then it's kind of like, it makes it more difficult for us because then it gives the opponent, I'm trying to find out, where's Marion? Oh, okay, there you are. Okay, then it gives the opponent the opportunity to do something to us. Whereas if we make our motion, our energy continuous.
Right.
All right, oh, come back here, Michael.
I think the question is, why do we practice forms?
Why do we practice forms? Is that your question, Miriam?
Yeah, that's really more the question. I mean, I know I don't want to, distract from your conversation, but I'm just wondering, like, is there more to our practice than simply memorizing the forms and understanding the flow of the energy and practicing the circular method? Like.
Yes. Okay. So say for instance, Michael and I are going to do a little bit of push hands. And say for instance, I go to push towards him. Okay. See how he can deflect me?
Yeah.
Okay. Because remember, we are storing and using the circle to deflect. Okay. And we are using a straight line to then issue our energy. All right. So there's two separate things. There's storage and release. When we store, we are using circles. When we release, we're using a straight line. So why? Okay, thank you. So why is it that we are learning a form? Why are we learning any form?
Right.
Okay, so hopefully what you're finding now is that there's more to the form than just doing the form.
More to Tai Chi.
Yes. Well, okay. So what Michael said, there's more to Tai Chi than just doing the form.
Right.
Right? So there's learning. The first thing to do is to learn a form, get comfortable with the form so you can memorize the sequence. But then after that, okay, which most of you probably have already done, right? You've learned the form, you probably memorized the sequence, okay? And now you're taking this class, we're in our 10th week now, and you're finding out that there's more to know and to apply to our form than what we initially learned.
Right.
Right? And when you get into push hands, you're going to find out how you're using these circles. You're going to be learning how to work with this energy. You're going to be able to should be able to identify these energies, and are you really using circles to deflect our opponent who's trying to attack us, and then be able to then issue out our energy. So there's a lot more, Marion.
Can I say something?
Yeah. Go ahead.
The form is at the beginning is not a practice of fighting. Okay, it's not exactly training fighting. And then the stepping stone to fighting is push hands. So once you know the form, usually after that, then people can join and learn some push hands and learn how to do that. And then you practice with another person, and you practice. And the 10 essentials are not just for the form. Therefore, some of them maybe are only might have only to do with push hands. Okay, but you try to do those all the time in the form and in push hands. And once you learn how to do certain things, like even for instance ward off and roll back the square energies to somebody else, then when you do the form, you practice them differently. When you do them now the form has something behind it. It feels like you're practicing something that your body has learned from push hands. But since you haven't done push hands, then the form is lacking that for you right now. So the form can be a way to do training, sort of Tai Chi push hands training or fighting training, after you know how to fight some, but you get that from push hands and not from the form, really.
Okay, so remember that Tai Chi is based on yin and yang. So they say that practicing the form is the yin side, the inactive side, where when you get into push hands, that's the yang side.
Interesting.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
so the well of Tai Chi we know is extremely deep, and that there is so much to learn. I mean, and it boils down to energy. It's about energy. How are you using your energy? What energy are you using? Okay, according to the energies we've identified, right? So it's more than what it is. Okay.
It's just the tip of the iceberg, in other
Well,
words.
yeah, I mean, because now we're getting into, with this practice continuously without interruption, once you get into doing push hands, then you're now in the active side, and now you can really start applying some of this. It's kind of challenging to do in the form. However, once you know how to do it in push hands, then you can see it in the form. You can see if somebody's expressing it or not in the form.
Interesting.
Nancy,
Yes?
I had a question, and I think I might know the answer, but the stops I have it's like mid form, realizing maybe I'm doing something wrong. Like I should be in bow stance, and I realize, oh, it's not quite wide enough, and I stop and correct it. This may be a side effect of having something else before this, because I used to the distinct nature of a form, where my elbow should be, how my hand should be, etc., and stopping correcting it. And that's happening all the time. I guess really the answer to that is just do more Tai Chi.
Yeah, I mean, you're lucky because Aikido is closest to martial art aspect to Tai Chi than any other martial art, I think.
Conceptually, yeah, the concept is similar, the philosophy.
Yeah, right. So it's then learning the discipline of what it is that what form you're doing and applying that discipline.
But do you recommend when I feel that, oh, I'm wrong, I got to correct this stance or this angle of body, should I live with that and go on, or should I stop and correct it?
Okay.
It feels like it makes me jerky to stop and endlessly correct things.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a time when I'm a Tai Chi jerk too. So we have good days and bad days. All right. So I will say this. There are stages. There are definite stages. All right. And Grandmaster Yongjin Dua used to recommend practicing 3 times in a row. So you could take the first section, or if you're having trouble with the second section, concentrate on the second section. Okay. Do it 3 times in a row. First time is your warm-up. Second time, you're looking for, oh my gosh, okay, so I didn't do that here, so I got to remember to do that next time. And the third time, do it for the enjoyment of doing it. And let go of the critique and things like that, because, sometimes we lose, we get so hung up on, am I doing this right? Oh no, I wasn't in the right empty stance, and my foot was crossed. Okay, what should I do now? Oh, kind of thing, right? Go on.
Exactly.
Or and for me, I take it as the word in the book. The word in the book means that I know later on I got to look it up. I got to look up that word so that I understand that word, so then I can go past that word. However, if I'm in my practice, there have been times I'm notorious for this. In the third section, after white snake spits out tongue, and we go through the, up to single whip, there are more times than not that I will not remember to do the next cloud hands. And so I'll get to single whip and I'll go to snake creeps down, or I'll go to high pat on horse, thrust out palm, and I'm going, well, wait a minute, I forgot to do the cloud hands. All right, but that doesn't stop me. That doesn't stop me. It's a mental note we take.
Nancy,
Absolutely.
that's when I added on the next one, right before snake creeps down. I do the
Yeah,
same
exactly.
thing.
Exactly. I mean, you improvise, right? You just
You
improvise.
still did it.
Well, exactly. So we just do it. In the Beijing 24 movement form, the simplified 24 short form. Okay, from start to finish, it's like, okay. Let me show you. So from single whip, they go to cloud hands. They go cloud hands. Okay, I'm going to rush through this. Okay, to single whip. All right, then they go to grasp reverse tail. Roll back, press, push. Go the other direction now. All right, ward off, roll back. Where's the stop and where's the end? So they've taken it to the other end, and where they just flow. They're roll back, press, push. Okay, that looks really beautiful. But the Yang family say we must show starting and ending postures, mostly end postures, right? And then we transition to the next. So they want a distinct pause, but know that because we're pausing doesn't mean that the energy is stopped. Okay? All right, so I want us to practice this. We are going to take grasping the bird's tail. And I'm going to walk you through this, and we're going to see where we are doing our circles, okay? So I want us to start with ward off left. I'll go this direction. All right. So here we are, left foot forward, looking at the 10 o'clock direction. Okay. All right. Go to ward off right, back and turn. Rotate. Closing the arms. Step. Go to ward off right. Roll back. Press. Push. All right, so now I want to watch you guys. Okay, from ward off left. John, I did not forget that you had your hand raised. I'm going to come to you after this. All right, from ward off left, go to ward off right. Roll back. Press. Push. Okay. All right, very good, and stop. All right, so I want you to notice me from left ward off to right ward off, and I want you to tell me where am I different from you. Okay, I just want you to watch my arms. Okay, so here, go like this. Okay, can everybody see me? Okay. All right, ready? Watch. Okay, here, I'll show you again. Am I doing anything different from you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah?
quite
Okay.
a bit.
Really? Okay, so what am I doing different?
Well, your pauses are really small, for one.
Okay.
Your arms aren't as wide. as
Okay.
mine.
Where's your shape? You lost your shape there.
Okay, John's kind of getting it. John's kind of getting it.
When you bring your right hand from back from the center, you circle out. And I don't do that. That was so amazing when I saw that last week that you did that. But I couldn't replicate it this week. And it was, I tried to, and I couldn't figure out what you were doing to circle your hand back in.
Okay.
You
Good
mean
observation,
grab?
John.
Are you talking about the grab?
Yes, we must show grab. All right. So from here, let me see. Okay, I'll show you this direction. All right. So from here, all right, what's this essential? Watch. What essential am I doing here?
So you're turning your
Your
elbow.
elbow.
Okay. What's the essential?
Number
Oh,
2.
look, Dee Dee's so excited. Dee Dee's going, please say it.
Sink the elbow.
Sink the elbows. Okay. Elbow down.
Elbow, number 2.
Okay. We know that we then have to sink the elbow a little bit. All right. Then from here, rotate this left arm. Rotate to grab and pull. There's your circle.
So we don't just go straight over a little bit. We need to turn.
Okay, this is different. Back, turn. The,
Right.
right? Okay, so we know that it has to continue.
Okay.
So, drop your elbow a little bit. Rotate. Then come in, and then we have this circle here. All right, so let's try that.
And in the grasping, the rotation is just from the elbow to the hand.
Yes, it's like this. It's this rotation with the right arm.
Like in cloud hands.
Like in cloud hands or like in rollback.
Yes.
So we're doing that with the left arm now. All right? You're welcome. Okay, so let's try this. Okay? From here. Back. Now when you start to turn, drop that left elbow just a little bit. Just release that elbow. Then rotate like you're going to do a grab and pull. Closing the arms. Step. Ward off right. Yes? Okay. Who had this circle before? Teachers are excluded from this answer.
Well, I had it, but I don't know if I was using my whole elbow as much. I don't know if I dropped my elbow going across in the first place. I think I held my arm kind of straight.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
but I was doing the circle after that.
All right, let's try it again. From ward off left. Back. When you start to turn, release that elbow. Drop it just a little bit. Then rotate, grab and pull. Or like you're doing roll back. Closing the arm, step. Ward off right. Yeah?
I got confused.
You're getting confused, Carol Ann? Like, what do you mean?
I don't know. My feet didn't know where to go because I was
Okay.
watching YouTube.
All right, so right now we're not focusing on the feet. Right now I want you to focus on your left elbow, your left arm, all right? So let's try it one more time. We're not worried about our feet, okay? Feet get a respite for right now. All right, ready? Back. Relaxing the elbow a little bit. Rotate. Closing the arms. Step. Ward off right. Yeah? How's that, Miss Carol Ann?
Better.
Better. Better's good. All right. Anybody have any questions on this? All right, John, what was your question?
Oh, my question, you answered that. It was about, at the end of a posture, releasing all the energy, or you still retain a little bit of energy, like in the yin-yang circle, there's a black spot in the white and a white spot in the black. I mean, you're retaining that energy so you can transfer to the next.
We always
Go ahead.
We always want to maintain our center.
Okay. That's the issue. Moving the center. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay. All right. So now we've learned the circle for ward off right. Now let's look at roll back. Okay. So here we are, right ward off, right foot forward, elbow knee in line. All right. Now we're going to do roll back. Go to roll back. Okay. So from right ward off, let me see you guys do roll back. Right foot forward. All right. Ready? Roll back. Okay. All right.
It's really hard.
Well, there are things that are challenging indeed. Okay, let me get my pencil and a paper. All right. Hopefully you guys will be able to see my beautiful drawing. This is a tube. All right. You know how they have those round mailing tubes that you can roll up a poster or whatever? Yeah? Okay. All right. These tubes have ends, right? There's two ends. And usually, in order to mail something, they have these ends that we fit into the tube like this, right? So it kind of goes inside, and so the tube is flat on the end, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we know in Young Family there are no flats. So this is what we're trying to do with these end caps.
Nice.
Okay? We're
Yeah,
trying to make them round,
right.
all right? Because we know that we have to make things continuous, right?
And it's not just round with our hands, it's rounded with the energy at the end. So we don't just come out and like have the right hand shape. We have to curve it back in a little bit. Or curve the end.
Yeah.
Point, not pointy.
Yeah, okay, yes and no, Marion. All right. If we're talking about physical, then yes, that may be true. However, we're talking more internal things. Okay. So, but they should be seen externally. All right. Okay. Remember we talked about the function of the waist. Okay. And we know that the function of the waist is to lead every movement. Right? All right. And we know that there are three ways in which the waist moves to help us achieve what it wants us to do, correct? So we know that there's a forward and back, then there's side to side, and then we have mixed, or what we call figure eight. So we combine the two together. All right? So there are times when we use forward and back, like with push. All right? We use the weight, we come back, and then we push forward, back and forth, right? And then we know that there are times when we go side to side, like cloud hands. It initially starts side to side, but then it goes to mixed. All right? Because in order to get this effect, this effect, you need your waist to then turn. So it's not so much my arm. My arm is a reflection of what my body's doing. Turn. All right? So we're making this kind of a level infinity sign, all right, to get my arm to go make this rounded end cap, all right? So we know then that we've got to use our waist to help direct us to get to this place, to get to this turn, to be able to do this turn. It's not just This is more like side to side. This to the right, to the left, right, left. But we know then we need to incorporate forward and back also. So how do we do that? We make this curve. We take this right energy going to the right, this level, and then we turn it. We turn it so that it can then go to the left. To the right, left. To the right, left. Okay, this is a lot. Okay, and this is why I needed one extra class, or we may take two, depending on you guys, about this essential. Okay, because this focuses on the waist and how the waist, we use our waist in the form to get us to make the shape or the curves that we need to make.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so all these 10 essentials, all right, all the essentials that we've worked on so far, one helps the other, helps the other, helps the other. Okay, so we know if our head's not lifted, then the shoulders and elbows don't, are having a problem sinking the chest, relaxing the waist. None of that's going to work unless the head's up. So all these essentials work together to make us one whole thing. All right. So if we look at roll back and we go to the right, and we can kind of do this kind of quick. Go to the right, turn, and rotate your arm like this. Kind of go quickly. Just rotate. So by the time you're finished here, your arm has rotated. Rotate. Rotate. Yep. Rotate. Rotate. Okay. All right. So now after you rotate, I want you to sit back and then just turn. See how there's this straight line here? This is a straight line. Okay? Rotate, straight line. Rotate, straight line. All right, so now what I want you to do is we're going to exaggerate this a little bit. So I want you to turn to the right. After you turn to the right, then I want you to do this.
I see.
So get your waist to turn a little bit. Turn. So then it'll be reflected in your arm. So turn to the right, turn to the left, turn to the left, turn to the left, turn to the left. And when you do turn to the left, drop your right elbow. Drop your right elbow, and you should have this. Okay, and don't get too frustrated if you're not getting it, because this it really is a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And yes, Allison, you can do that. Dip down a little bit. Dip down a little bit. Okay. To get this feeling of this turning, so that the waist is now turning the other direction. We turn to the right. We turn to the left. We're making this U-turn. U-turn here. So drop your elbow. Drop that right elbow. You'll see a difference in your palm shape. It's going to change. It's going to change from this, and it's going to go kind of make this kind of a, okay, instead of this, it's going to do this.
I hear it. It's working.
All right. Now, if you can do this now, you're really, really lucky. Really, really lucky. All right. Know that this will take some time. If you're not getting it now, know that you will get it. It's just going to take time and practice. Yeah, kind of like that, Sharon. There you go. Okay. All right. So let's try this from right ward off. So we're like this. All right. And we're going to make this U-turn. Turn to the right. Rotate your arms. Now when it almost gets to the end, now change your direction. Okay, do it again. All right, roll back, turn to the right. When you almost get to the corner, now change the direction. All right? Okay, so that's something to think about. Now, let's go to press. The same thing with press. I got to bring my beautiful drawing out again, because I love my drawings. They're very simple, but effective. Okay, see how we have these end caps here, these arcs, these.
Two.
Yeah, the end of the tube, so we make it circular and not flat or straight. All right. So when you do press, don't do this. Straight line, straight line. Don't just bring your arm in. If this is a paintbrush, if your fingers are a paintbrush and we've dipped the paint, the fingertips in paint, we need to draw now a circle, an outside circle. So our fingers are dripping. Now we got to make this like we're starting this U-turn. Then we make the U-turn.
That's actually really beautiful.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I want you to do this and not hold your breath. Okay. So from here. All right. Fingers are dripping. We're in paint now. Ready? Make the circle. Then make your U-turn. So you should see this circle. You should see this U-turn with your fingers. All right. And when you do, when your left palm connects to the right middle forearm, don't stop. Push out. Because the car, unless you want to brake, but we don't want to brake. We want to keep going because traffic is coming.
Good.
You know how there's times when you try to make that U-turn and you see, okay, they're still far enough away, and then when you start to, and then you go, oh no, they're getting closer. All right. So we need to put on gas a little bit. All right. So we don't brake. We don't break, we continue. We continue out. Then separate your arms, back, roll over a ball, and push back up towards shoulder height. All right, so let's take this from left ward off. We're going to do all the way up to push. Okay, let's see. I'll go this way. All right, from ward off left. Left bow stance going to 12 o'clock. Our looking direction's 3. All right, we go to right ward off. Back. Remember, drop that elbow just a little bit as you turn. Rotate your arm, grabbing and pulling. Closing the arms, step, ward off right. Roll back, turn, rotate, almost to the end, turn. Press. Got your fingers, making that U-turn. Separate the arms to shoulders width. Shift back, roll over the ball in front of the chest, and push back upward. We're making a teardrop here. How's that?
Better.
How are we doing?
Better.
It's a lot to take in. This essential is a lot. The good news is that you've been making circles. Now I want you to really, really think about your circles. How are you circling your arms in your transitions? Okay, even here at single whip, you know, we're like this, right? Sometimes people go like this, back to the right, to the left. All right, we know that we don't do that. So from here, back, turn, back, striking, lifting, rotate, strike. All right, so you have to think to yourself, am I moving continuously? Is my energy moving continuously? Or am I stopping somewhere? Am I stopping somewhere? Okay? So we know that there's no stopping. Once you start, okay, once you get the green light, we go up until we get to the next stoplight. And we know that the next stoplight, we know we're not going to have to wait very long because we're in control of the light. So we know that there's just a little pause and then we go. So we actually don't get a real, we have what's called a California stop, okay? Anybody from California knows that, right?
Uh-huh.
In California, they call it a cowboy stop.
Yeah. Okay, so you know, like when you take your foot off the brake and not put on the ignition, not the ignition, pedal, the gas pedal, you know the car will go, right? Even, it just won't go very fast, but it'll keep going, right? All right, so it's kind of like that, but we do kind of push on the brake a little bit because, we see that it's yellow, and we know next it's either going to go red or green. so, so we know that there's a green there. We kind of slow down a little bit. We kind of pause just a little bit, and then green light. Okay, but don't do this. Okay, roll back, press. Okay, don't do it like that. So this week, your job is to look at your circles. All right? And the circles that I really like to work with are those in grasp of the bird's tail. Because you're going to be doing this 9 or 10 times in the form. And if you can get your circles in grasping the bird's tail, then the other ones should be pretty okay. All right? So, remember, we are storing to release. Storing to release. And we know the release part comes when we are applying our energy. Okay? So we use circles to help us store, to help us redirect or neutralize. Neutralize meaning that we don't technically, okay, we do. We do not forcibly stop our opponent. We allow them to come forward. They want to hit us. Okay, come towards me and hit me. But I'm going to redirect you away from my body. All right, that's what I mean. So we are redirecting. When we redirect, we use circles. We first connect and then we use a circle to deflect them or to neutralize them. Then we release. And when you release, use a straight line. Strike them, hit them, kick them, do whatever you need to do to let them know, don't try to punch me again.
So,
All right.
so Nancy, I think I thought that there were more moves besides grasp the bird's tail, whether you do have pauses in between the parts. Is it only grasp the bird's tail? Where
No. Throughout the whole form.
Okay.
So when you look at the names of the movements in the form, there'll be single whip. Then there'll be raise hands and step forward. So there's a stop in between those two.
Right.
From raise hands to white crane, there's a stop.
It means like separation cape.
But I'm thinking like even in single whip, I mean, there's so many parts to it.
Okay.
It seems like
Single whip.
I mean, there are a lot of circles.
Yes, there are a lot of circles.
Like multiple opponents, right?
Yes, but we teach them as, okay, 1, shift your weight back, flat your hands. Turn. 2, okay? So we teach it in a way to give you these moments that you're in the right posture. Mm-hmm. However, when you become more familiar and more comfortable with the movement, then those numbers will blend. But all the numbers will be there.
Okay.
But creeping down. At a stopping point in the middle.
So transitions, like transition to grasp the bird's tail.
I'm sorry, what, Marian?
You hear transition, like transition to grasp the bird's tail. But that's still part of grasp the bird's tail as one movement.
Yes, in the Chinese they say dan bian. Dan bian means single whip, and then you'll hear duan dong shi. That means turn, transition, go, and then he'll say at the end, dan bian. That means single whip. So between each movement there is a pause.
And that's not the transition part. That's just a pause.
Once you start the transition, you are in the transition till you get to the end posture. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then you have a pause. Then you transition to the next movement until you get to the end of that end posture.
So there's a transition at the beginning of each and the end of each posture.
From single whip, this is the end posture. Now I'm going to transition into raise hands and step forward. Once I start, I'm not going to stop. I'm
Right.
going to do my circles, and I'm going to go here, and now I finish. From here, now I'm done, okay? Then I'm going to go to white crane spreads its wings. Once I start this transition, I'm not stopping. I'm not going to stop until I get to the end.
All right, so the transitions are always in the beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like you're at a stop sign, then you get the green light, then you can go.
But getting back to single whip, don't we hear transition to single whip like towards the, like in the middle of it or something, or?
No, the calling is Tan bien, Duan Don Shi. Tan bien. Now, my Chinese isn't that good, but that's what it sounds like to me.
Single
All
whip
right.
transition.
Yeah,
What's
it means
that?
transition into single whip.
I mean, you say single whip transition, that's the transition, and then you say single whip at the end. Usually we don't have, we call out a transition into something, but that one's a long one, so.
Okay, okay, all right.
So Nancy, when you're talking about where's your circles, you're not so much asking about the obvious ones. You're
Right.
talking about some of the very small little. Not
Yes.
so.
Where's your circle?
Are we making a circle?
Yeah, there. See more with your hand. Yeah.
Where's your circle? Right? Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So now we're getting into really fine things.
Yeah.
Mighty fine things.
Mighty fine.
Yeah, mighty fine. Okay. So this week when you practice, I want you to ask yourself in your practice before you get to the joy practice, okay? All right, because you should practice for the sake of just the enjoyment of doing Tai Chi.
Mhm.
Don't think about, oh my God, I messed that up. Just do it for the joy, of doing it. Other practices, go to it and say, okay, I need to find out where I need to, make some corrections and things like that. But there comes a time where you just have to do it for the joy and allow your heart to really enjoy it. Because, Master Yang has said, Tai Chi comes from our heart. All right? And our heart pumps regardless of, whatever, right? So we want to fill our heart with joy because Tai Chi should give us joy. Tai Chi should give us a lot of good things, right? So make sure that you are practicing for just the sake of enjoying what it is that you're doing, okay? And if you wind up, look at me, I'm making my circles, I'm being continuous, okay? Get that flow. Michael and I had the benefit, our first teacher, we learned the 24 movement form, and he taught us how to just do just that, the flow. So we got the feeling. So Tai Chi will boil down to, how does it feel? How does it feel? And it should feel wonderful. Okay? So, we have classes. We have, when you go to class and you learn a new movement and, you work on that and experience all the challenges that come, yet enjoy it. Okay? All right. Anything else before we stop? All right. Where are your circles?
Everywhere.
All right.
So
And
I
I
have a
will,
question. This is not the 10th essential that we're on yet, right?
no, this is number 9.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So next week we will address the 10th essential. Hallelujah. Right? We'll address the 10th essential, and we'll just kind of bring everything together. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Go forth and enjoy your week. Go enjoy your Tai Chi. Have fun. Okay? Thank you guys for joining me today. And practice continuously without interruption. How are you going to do that?
Shut the door and leave the dog and husband out.
That's funny.
Find your circles, okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Care.
Have a good week.
Have a wonderful week.
Bye, everybody.